केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like the clouds of confrontation hanging over the monsoon session of Parliament may finally be beginning to lift. After days of disruption, confrontation and slogan shouting, Parliament could be headed for a political reset. In a significant outreach, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju is learned to have held a nearly 50-minute meeting with Leader of Opposition Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra present in the room. The centre's message was simple: end the logjam and let Parliament function. Remember, since the monsoon session began on July 20th, the Lok Sabha has failed to complete even one single question hour. But is this outreach merely about rescuing the remaining days of the monsoon session, or is it the first step towards a much bigger political exercise? There's growing buzz that the government could convene a special session of Parliament after Independence Day. Deliberations are set to be underway on reviving the Delimitation Bill, which was defeated in last session, along with amendments relating to the Women's Reservation Bill. Sources also suggest that the centre is working towards securing the two-thirds majority needed for this legislation, which is why Times Now has learned delimitation figured prominently during Kiran Rijiju's meeting with Rahul Gandhi. With the government sounding out the Congress party on its position before the next political battle begins, the leading opposition party is now showing signs of thaw and willingness to end the deadlock, but only if their conditions are fully met.
आज पार्लियामेंट्री अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर लोग से मिले थे, अपोजिशन लीडर से मिले थे, राहुल जी से, लेकिन बातचीत का कोई निष्कर्ष निकलेगा मुझे ऐसा लगता है। हम इतना ही करें कि होम मिनिस्टर आकर हाउस में जो छात्रों के साथ जो बर्बरता हुई है, जो उनके साथ जो उनको एक प्रकार से पीड़ित किया गया है, प्रताड़ित किया गया है, तो उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए उनको जवाब देना चाहिए कि आखिर इसके लिए कौन जिम्मेदार है।
So there should be a proper discussion on that issue. We are asking for a discussion, debate.
Just as the government appears to be laying the groundwork to diffuse discontent over delimitation, another politically explosive bill could reach Parliament as early as tomorrow. The proposed amendments to the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act are expected to be taken up, and the opposition's demand for the Home Minister to address the House may also be met, with sources indicating Amit Shah himself could intervene during this debate. But even before the battle begins in Parliament, a new front has been opened in Washington. A Republican congressman has claimed the amendments amount to a clear attack against Christians, could enable government takeover of churches and religious charities, and may even affect India-US ties. Now, even before one examines the merits of those claims, the basic question arises: what local standard does a US lawmaker have to weigh in on laws that are being passed in the Indian Parliament? Foreign funding laws lie squarely within India's sovereign domain. A foreign legislator has no business whatsoever prescribing how India should frame them. The Indian National Congress, however, thinks that the centre would pay heed to this unsolicited advice.
Now you see the mood of Narendra Modi will change within a minute. If Indian opposition telling something, he will not listen. But once this type of hikayat from foreign countries are coming, he used to listen that. I don't know why, but people are now understanding gradually.
Now, for the sake of clarity, let's test Moore's claims against facts. There is nothing in the proposed amendments that singles out Christians or churches. The provisions apply uniformly to every organization governed by the FCRA, whether it is a religious body, an NGO, a trust, or an education institution. The trigger is not religion. It is the loss, surrender, or expiry of an FCRA registration. Even then, the bill specifically requires that if the asset made by that NGO or trust is a place of worship, its religious character will be preserved, must be preserved, and can never be changed. And here's the irony. The United States itself has extensive laws regulating foreign influence and foreign funding.
विदेशी धन से अचानक आंदोलन खड़ा करें, आंदोलन हिंदू मुसलमान में मतभेद करें, अचानक हिंसा प्रकट कराएं, ये विदेशी चंद का भी तो एक लेखा जोखा होना चाहिए ना। मना कहाँ कर रहे हैं यूएस से, इसमें बीच में भारत के आंतरिक विषय में यूएस का क्या हस्तक्षेप है?
The Congress, meanwhile, has coined another conspiracy theory. It says the amendments are anti-minority, anti-Dalits, anti-NGOs, and create an ecosystem that solely benefits the RSS and Sangh-backed institutions.
सरकार सुन रही होगी। FCRA का जो अभी स्वरूप है, उस स्वरूप में दलित संगठन और अनेक संगठनों को बाहर रखने का एक षड्यंत्र रचा जा रहा है। सिर्फ संघ समर्थित लोगों को सैनिक स्कूल मिले, सिर्फ संघ समर्थक लोगों को, समर्थित लोगों को और संगठनों को पैसा मिले, चंदा मिले, दान मिले, सब कुछ मिले, ये थोड़ी चलेगा।
सही बात है। ये एक तरह से जो अल्पसंख्यक समुदाय के जो भी इंस्टीट्यूशन है, चाहे क्रिश्चियन का हो, माइनॉरिटी का, किसी भी सेक्शन का हो, उसको एक तरह से कमज़ोर करने के लिए उनको जो आर्थिक सहायता मदद मिलती है विदेशों से, उसको रोकने की एक साजिश।
We believe that it is against all those NGOs who are doing charity and service to the poor, and it is also against minority organizations who are doing great service across India.
But here's the reality check. The text of the bill contains no provisions naming the RSS. There is no preferential treatment for Hindu organization, and nothing that can be construed as anti-minority or anti-Dalit either. The government insists the law is about regulating foreign-funded assets, not targeting any specific group.
बहुत सारी संस्थाओं ने वो विदेशी फंडिंग से देश में भ्रमजाल फैलाने का काम किया है। उनको देश को अस्थिर करने के लिए वो प्रयोग करते हैं। अगर राहुल गांधी, अगर आप में और आपके तर्कों में इतना दम है तो 2029 में फरियाद लेंगे।
And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight. Is opposition misleading over FCRA amendments to fund its own politics? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight on the news are Mohandas Pai, chairman of Arin Capital, joining us this evening. Siddharth Yadav, national spokesperson of BJP. Ishkaran Bandari, advocate in the Supreme Court. Abbas Haider, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Chirag Sethi, national spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. But my first question goes to Congress leader Sanjay Jha. And Sanjay Jha, why is the Congress so against government on the FCRA bill? Isn't every government in the world going to look at where foreign funding is coming in from, where it is going? There are these norms that exist in every nation. So is the amendment bill this time looking at whether what funds come in for whatever purpose are used there. After all, NGOs and other trusts, etc., cannot run the political agenda if money coming in is meant for education and other work. It's a simple exercise to bring in procedures and rules so that if there is a registered NGO which keeps renewing and getting its clearances in time after getting checked its fund usage, how they will maintain their assets, where their money is coming in, for what, and where it is going. What is so problematic? How does this make it anti-minority at all?
Good evening to you, Navika. Very pertinent question. Let's try and address it head on. But before I do that, I think it's important for the viewers to know, and I'm sure for the purpose of this program as well, and I do want to park it before I answer your question, that how come the social and cultural organization that literally runs the biggest political party in India called the BJP, and I'm referring to the RSS, who funds the RSS? I think Indians need to know that. I think everyone in India has a fundamental right to know who funds the RSS, because they are massive. They are massive. We know there are certain state undertakings that have been forced to give thousands of crores to the RSS as reports. But I'm sure if there is any foreign funding, this government needs to tell us why is the RSS not registered and who funds the RSS. Now, let me answer your question very quickly. I totally agree with you that foreign funding of any entity in any democratic government, or frankly in any responsible government, is and should be part of the law. I don't think that's a point of debate. The question is a couple of issues that come up that I think need to be addressed from the point of view of realizing that civil society or NGOs, all of them are not anti-nationals. See, this government should wake up. The Cockroach Janata Party and the protests happening across the country and pan-India should tell this government that this repression, calling everybody an anti-national traitor, is bad politics, is going to boomerang on the BJP. It already is. But let me ask a couple of fundamental questions. Automatic licenses will get lapsed, and people, NGOs, have no appeal mechanism. Avika, you and I debate multiple political hot potato issues. Can you imagine if tomorrow you are running an NGO with a foreign funding and you have a problem with the renewal, you have no appeal mechanism, Navika. You can't go anywhere. Now, here is the other part. You can't even be heard before your renewal application. I mean, this is draconian to the core. This is the fundamental problem. Now, they will have a designated authority, which you are aware of, which can seize the assets, sell the assets, and forcibly do whatever it wants to do with them. These are the areas of serious concern. So I think at the end of the day,
the only issue that is problematic is whether these assets, if they are of a religious nature, can their use be changed? Because that is what is anti-minority, and that is what is troubling you as well as the US Congressman. The law, completely assures that no change can take place. So why are you calling it anti-minority? You can call it stringent. You can call for different kinds of stages of appeal. But why is it being called anti-minority, anti-Dalit, when there are no such provisions, Sanjay Jha?
Well, let me tell you, look at one other law. And, I think we need to discuss this in entirety. And I don't think it should be a polarized debate. It's
you need another law. You can't find a problem in this law. You need another law which you will criticize. This law you can't find, any holes in as far as the anti-minority.
Can I point to one?
On anti-minority, on how this law is anti-minority.
When you are picking up the term minority, because I think it in a great number of ways is a combustible topic, right, for a debate. But I want to bring
I'm not picking that up. Point. I'm only picking up that line because that is the criticism that has come officially from the Congress party, which is why I'm asking you, why are you calling it anti-minority? Please explain to me and convince me.
I'm explaining to you. I again saw the BJP spokespersons, half of them are intellectually defunct and morally compromised, saying that it's coming from
all intellectual reservoir stays with the Congress party. Everybody else is dumb. and has no intellectual quotient. All right, if that's what you believe.
Because I'll quote you a very interesting example. This is a government when Mr. Narendra Modi talks about running with a shopping bag, asking for Americans to invest in India. He gives them sweetheart deals and trade deals, compromises India's interest, economic interest.
अच्छा, वो न्यूक्लियर डील में जो हार्ट्स थे वो कौन से थे?
What a joke.
The nuclear deal had so many hearts in it. Was that meant for Russia or China, or was it meant for the United States? Having said that, you haven't come up with a cogent criticism, Sanjay Jha, and at least I think if you can't answer in 6 minutes, Sanjay Jha, you can't answer. Take a bow, rest, Google some, and I'll come back to you. I want to get in Mohan Das Bhai. Mohan Das Bhai, what is anti-minority? My friend could not explain for the last 6 minutes. Now, please tell me, is this a red herring that is being floated by the Congress Party?
Navika, there is nothing in the law which is against genuine NGOs doing good work. There's nothing in the law. The law does not prevent any NGO which does good work, which gets money from outside. Let's be very clear about that. It's not against minorities, not against Dalits, it's not against you and me. That's very clear. Second, the law is against misuse of the proceeds coming from outside, which every sovereign country has a right to regulate. Will America allow Chinese money or Russian money to come to NGOs there for the promotion of democracy, for the promotion of civic activity and other activities? They will not. They will regulate it. They don't want money to come which is not clean. And the third point, why should these people go beg money from outside India to do any good work here when the corporate social responsibility funding is 60,000 crores a year and India spends more than 1 lakh crore a year for charitable organizations? You just have to look at the total money that NGOs get within this country. So why are these people hankering about people outside? Next point, why should outside people give money like the George Soros Foundation for that mother and other people to do political activism in this country? You've seen a lot of money come from George Soros, and many of these people have sold their souls for a few dollars to do political activism here. When Dr. Singh was there, he condemned the NGOs which went against Kunam Kulam. Remember that. He made a big point and they cancelled the NGO licenses because they were clearly working against India's interest. Why should you allow these foreign NGOs to come and dictate our policy, ours? If these people want a social cause, let them get money from Indians. This is our country, they can go raise money. If Indians don't want to fund them, they've got no cause to support. Let Indians fund them. And I think it's very important for people to understand that Indians should fund the majority of it. Next, we're seeing a lot of money coming for conversion activities. The internet is full of these conversion activities, full of these pastors, full of these evangelists who do fake things, get money from outside. Many of the overseas churches and overseas organizations openly boast about sending money to India to ban churches, to convert people. There's so much of abuse happening. Go to Andhra Pradesh and see on the ground. Go to Punjab and see on the ground. Go to other parts of the country in Jharkhand and see on the ground what these people are doing. And this is to stop the conversion mafia, stop the conversion activity, stop all these people fattening themselves and using money for political activity. The law also says that you can't spend more than 20% on administrative running. They were all enjoying at 50%. Now they get money for education, they get money for public service and spend money on themselves and become activists. During the Bharat Jodo Yatra, we saw the Vice President of the Open Society coming and marching there. What the hell has he got to do with Indian politics? Why is George Soros controlling all these people? Many of these people are sold their soul, they go beg from outside, and they work against India's interest. If they want to do political activity, they want to do advocacy, let them get money from India. Why should foreign money come? Every right to regulate foreign money. And next, as far as any misuse is concerned, Sanjay Jha should have his head examined. You can always go to court. No law in this country can prevent you from going to court, from appealing. There are many eminent lawyers in Delhi who will file a PIL at a hatch notice and go before the court. And the courts are there to protect you. Why yell misuse? Why yell prevention? Why
absolutely. And you've hit the nail on the head, Mohandas Pai, because conversion is disallowed even under the Constitution.
Yes.
So in the constitution, there is no provision for conversion. If the law only strengthens the constitution, what is your problem, Sanjay Jha?
For example, this guy, Sanjay is
Mr. Pai, let me answer.
RSS bashing. What does RSS got to do with it? If you don't like the RSS, go to court. Go to court. You can file a PIL.
The question has been asked to me, not to you.
Go to the top of a hat. Ask them for source summary. Do whatever you want. That is your merit. Why bring that into the argument? This got nothing to do with RSS. Got nothing to do with any organization. It is a law to tighten the flow of money.
Because this is an unfair conversation.
Okay.
Keep quiet, Sanjay. Stop your nonsense.
You keep quiet, man. Why are you taking my time?
Okay, Sanjay Jha, allow Mr. Pai to complete. I will give you time, sir. I started the debate with you.
I thought you
Okay. But then if he has an extra point to make, let's not impose emergency, Sanjay Jha, every time.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, really?
I mean, see, Navika, we have a right to protect what money, foreign money comes into this country. If you want money for activity, for advocacy, for political, that is the money from Indians. Do get it from Indians. Let Indians support our country. This is not just
Makes
a
sense to me. Makes sense to me. Why does it not make sense to you, Sanjay Jha? That is the simple question. Why does it not make sense to you?
It doesn't
Okay,
make sense.
now do me a favor.
Again,
वो फिर बोल रहा है यार. Here is my short answer.
आप इससे बड़े लोगों को बोल रहे हैं बोलते हैं. आप बिहार की धरती से आते हैं.
आप चिंता मत करें. You did not interrupt him when he said I should get my head examined. That
आपको भी नहीं किया था, लेकिन you forget all the good things I do to you.
Yeah. Anyway, no. Let's leave the moment and talk about today. I need to make this statement very clear. The gentleman who spoke before me, Mr. Pai, needs to get his head and heart examined. I'll tell you why. This is the same gentleman who went to America to list his company Infosys because they needed American money. So when a corporate needs American money, that is fine. If an NGO needs American or foreign money, that is a crime. The second point,
I mean, what a
Mr. Modi goes running all over the world.
Now you are comparing a corporate, a global MNC that India has made and comparing it with an NGO. I mean, Mohandas Pai.
Navika is totally idiotic. FBI has put in $600 billion into this country. It's a business transaction. You go list abroad for foreign capital, for building your brand, doing many things. That's a different matter. Now, these fellows who need to have the head examined, talk about RSS, which is irrelevant, talk about listing abroad, which is irrelevant, and talk about foreign money, which is irrelevant. And any foreign money raised by capital is regulated by RBI. There are very clear regulations. If you don't follow the regulations,
and so is it regulated in other countries. You know, Sanjay Jha, you and I are alumni of the same college of economics. इतना इकोनॉमिक्स तो आपको भी आता है कि बिजनेस ट्रांजैक्शंस एंड एनजीओ मनी में फर्क होता है. But let me get in Abbas Haider. Abbas Haider, is the problem only because you want to target the RSS? Is that the only problem? Because I don't see much else that you can find fault with. If your problem is only with the RSS, because to check why funds are coming in and where they are used happens all the time. Every single paisa that center gives to states, utilization certificates have to be provided by the states also to the center so that more money for schemes can go down. That is the process. That is the procedure. That is how accounts are kept. Now, where is the problem in the FCRA following the route of the money and finding out where it has been spent?
Well, Navika ji, we must remember that obtaining an FCRA license is already a rigorous process. They have to go through multiple scrutiny, background checks, and so many things. There are multiple audits. Out of 3 to 3.5 million active NGOs in India, there are only 25,000 NGOs who have got FCRA license. So, Navika ji, it is already a very rigorous process. That is one thing. Second thing, Navika ji, Samajwadi Party believes that our sovereignty, our national security, it is non-negotiable, and no foreign leader has right to dictate dictate us or to tell us that what legislation our parliament is going to take up. We strictly condemn the statement from the US leader. Navika, the most important thing is if there is a violation, I believe that the law must take strictest action against person who has violated the law, who has somehow, taken the law in their hand. But, our atmosphere of intimidation must not be created by the government. This is not a law. This is not a reform. It is, the government is trying to strangulate the civil society of our country. Navika ji, the thing here is, I believe that charity begins at home. So the government, which is trying to portray that they are bringing in accountability and transparency to this law, they must start with the audit of PM Relief Fund, and they should declare it publicly that how and where
is PM Relief Fund an NGO? Is it a foreign funded NGO? The Prime Minister's Relief Fund? क्या बोल रहे हैं आप जी?
Navika ji, it is our hard-earned money. We all country, every citizen has paid for that.
अच्छा, आपने 5 नए पैसे दिए? आपने 5 नए पैसे दिए PM केयर फंड में?
नाविका जी, जबरदस्ती दिए हैं। नाविका जी, पीएम केयर फंड में आप कुछ भी ले रहे थे, there was a criteria. You are paying for PM care fund during the time of COVID, and there has been no audit of PM care fund. It is not transparent. We are talking about FCRA. Nobody is saying that there shouldn't be scrutiny, there shouldn't be audit of the funds which are coming from, where they are coming from, where they are going. And if somebody is violating, take a strict action. Who is stopping the government? But trying to intimidate NGOs who are playing a pivotal role in the healthcare sector, in the education sector of the country, for the marginalized section, for the women, for the medical sector, they are doing a pivotal role. They're playing a pivotal role in the country. You are trying to intimidate them, Navika ji, where the government is not able to reach common people at the
I thought the government's case was the opposite. It is the NGOs intimidating the government. But Siddharth Yadav, please respond.
Navika ji.
No, Navika, one thing that has to be understood in this entire argument is that this bill is about accountability, not ideology. One has to make it very clear. No mature democracy, no sovereign democracy in this world operates without such a law. Be it US, be it UK, be it Australia, be it Netherlands, any country. This is the same law which is in lines with all mature democracies in the world who already have such mechanisms in place. Now, what my learned friends from the opposition are suggesting, I can't actually believe and imagine the kind of comparisons that are being drawn on your show tonight. How can you compare the lack of accountability of foreign funded NGOs in our country to anything which is of our country funded by our people? How is this comparison even, how can this comparison be even made? The question is, if money is flowing in from foreign funding, it has to be transparent, it has to be accountable, people have to be open about it, the country has to know about it. This is point number 1, Navika. Point number 2, this is not a new problem. We have been facing this from decades. Let me remind you, in 2012, even Manmohan Singh made a statement that there are NGOs working in the country which are foreign funded, which are hampering the development projects in our country. When Manmohan Singh was saying this was right. But today suddenly it has become wrong. This is the surprising fact, and I think highlights the hypocrisy of the opposition. Rather, in 2014, an IB report had come out which had described in detail how foreign funded non-transparent organizations have acted in manner which has costed India's GDP 2 to 4%. They somehow suddenly only work against development projects in Northeast, coal-related projects, all development projects across the country, and all such NGOs are foreign funded. What we are doing today is that transparency and accountability be established so that whatever fund is coming in, all activities that these NGOs are doing will continue to happen, but with more accountability. Why would a Congress party come and advocate that there should be no accountability? And just to answer Sanjay Jha's ridiculous arguments that he made in the beginning, that there are no appeal mechanisms in this. I'm sorry, Sanjay Jha, you are uneducated about this. Go and educate yourself. There is a reversal mechanism.
मोदी जी को put his certificate मैं तो डाल देता हूँ।
मैं संजय आपके बीच में नहीं बोला था. Don't get so rattled.
मोदी जी को
I don't know why you acting like a
हम डाल
crybaby
देते
on
हैं
this
अपना।
show tonight. मैं एक मिनट भी नहीं बोला. I've been listening to you for 20 minutes. At least have the courtesy to hear me. आपको सुनने के लिए नहीं बैठे हैं सब लोग. सुन लीजिए आर्ग्यूमेंट, फिर जवाब दीजिएगा. सबसे पहले तो जो इंटरनल मैकेनिज्म, जो अथॉरिटी सेटअप की जा रही है, उसके पास आप अपील करके जा सकते हैं. There's a 90-day window जहां पर आप ये कर सकते हैं. For any matter where you think that appeal is not listed in this, we have Article 226 in this country which gives you a writ jurisdiction. Go and challenge this, appeal this in the High Court. How ridiculous of an argument is, जहां पर already FCRA bill में there are mechanisms for appeal. और अगर आप कहेंगे कहीं पर there's no अरे भैया आपसे नहीं पढ़ना है मेरे को. आप जाकर कौन से वाला पढ़ के आते हैं. You are mounting this problem, religious conversion problem and this and that. आपका प्रॉब्लम दर्द कहीं और हो रहा है, छुपाना कुछ और चाहते हैं. प्रॉब्लम ये है, आपका दर्द है कहीं और, आपको पता है रुकेगा कुछ और.
तारिक अनवर साहब कह रहे हैं, तारिक अनवर साहब ने कहा है, the bill is to target the minorities, be it Christians or any other community. So it's not a figment of anybody's imagination, Ishkaran Bhandari. The Congress has officially said. I want to ask you, where in which world are people living where money can flow into a country and be used for political intervention and should not be checked?
Navika ji, firstly I'll come to the world. This is the same udharan or example or minority appeasement or minority fear mongering which was done in CA. Ki under CA you will throw Muslims out of Bharat, which did not deal with Indians at all, leave alone Indian Muslims. Same with this law does not deal with minorities specifically, either Christians or Muslim or anybody. But the same fear mongering has to be done because you don't have a legal argument. Just 3 countries I will name. US under its FRA law, you have up till 10 years imprisonment if you don't register yourself as a foreign agent. UK has 2 years punishment. Under its national security law, you have to register yourself as a foreign influence registration scheme. 2 years and then 5 years. Singapore has it, Israel has it, Canada has it, European Union has freezing of assets. So all countries have laws that if you bring money into their country for purposes in which you will influence the domestic policy of that country, that is a crime that has to be regulated. You know the definition of homeland security or terrorism? I am not quoting it verbatim, but it says if you affect the society, the polity, the religious affair, the economic interests of US, they treat you under terrorism laws also if what you are doing amounts to that. So every nation protects itself, as is Bharat doing. Now the problem arises with some of the rules. I will just say a religious example they are going. What are the rules saying? Rule 6, subclause 3. Preservation, support of institutions engaged in study, documentation, preservation of religious, philosophy, theology, religious history, all is allowed except proletization. What is the rule 6? Conduct of religious education, moral instruction, satsang, medication, everything is allowed except proletization. So do you want to bring in foreign money for proletization? Because everything else is allowed, everything else you can do except that one point. So I believe anybody opposing that basically wants to bring in foreign money to convert. They are saying that by their own words because everything is allowed. And last point, all those who are saying that what happens when an Indian company goes out, they gave the example of Mr. I's company also. Any company operating in US operates with conformity of Indian law as well as US laws. So all we are saying, you comply with Indian laws if you want to bring money to India. What is the problem in that?
Absolutely. And it's not as if NGOs in the past have not faced action from the Congress Sarkar themselves. Amnesty was disallowed money under FCRA in the UPA regime. Amnesty in India had to undergo a fine of 52 crore rupees because it circumvented Indian laws. What is wrong with that? Unless Chirag Sethi of the Aam Aadmi Party, you feel that conversions is the way to go. I'm a Punjabi. I have lived in Punjab in the 90s. I know the number of Punjabis, Sikhs and Hindu Punjabis who were there and the amount of conversion that has taken place in Punjab. Do you think that should go on unchecked?
Navika, first of all, any amount of money that is coming from the outside should be checked. I don't think anyone on this panel disagree to that. But why the government wants to take away the properties? Why they want to take the custody of the properties? Why? What is the need of that? If you have not renewed the certificate, for some reason it can't be renewed, does that mean some RSS guy will come and sit and will start working on the education part of it?
The government or the state is not RSS, sir. That is the government. Today it may be the BJP, tomorrow it will be probably your party if you win elections.
It's the same, Navika. It's the same.
अच्छा, तो आपने मान लिया आप अपने सेंटर में आओगे?
जिन्होंने 1 लाख स्कूल बंद किए और आज जो स्कूल चल रहे हैं उनको भी टेक ओवर करना चाहते हैं। इनके खुद के बच्चे तो जाके पढ़ेंगे अमेरिका में, इनके खुद बच्चे तो जाके पढ़ेंगे लंदन में, बट ये आर्ग्यूमेंट नहीं चाहिए। आपको प्रॉपर्टीज क्यों सीज करनी है? You tell me, if you want to take actions, take actions. But if there is a school, if there is a college, and it could not renew the FCRA certificate, and there are lawyers on board, tell me what happens. Did they take over? They take over the property?
So then, okay, let me give you an example, Chirag Sethi. मेरा license expire हो गया, but please don't stop me from driving a car because I need to go to work. So allow me to drive without a license. Don't make it compulsory for me to pay taxes because मेरे पैसे कम हो जाते हैं. Of course, if I drive without a license, if I break the law, consequences follow. Which world are you living in?
Where can I go and appeal? Tell me, what is the process of appeal? Can I? Okay. So my license is cancelled, my property is taken over. Now I go to the courts and all this has been taken over by the
and win back the property. If the court thinks you are right, you will win property more. That's why where is the rocket science in this?
No. Anyone that comes wrongly or that comes and disturbs the peace of this country should be. Again, I think should be investigated and strictest punishment should be given. But to take over properties because the renewal did not happen in time does not mean I have done something wrong or the NGO has done something wrong.
Well, the laws have a grace period. If you don't want to renew, then please go home. Allow the asset to stay in India. Well, Siddharth wants to respond. Siddharth, please.
Yes. No, Navika, I think misinformation on your show should not be spread. It was a legal loophole which is being filled, the gap which is being filled from the 2010 Act. Just so your viewers should know, the Section 15 of the FCRA 2010 Act also mandated that in the assets created out of the foreign contributions vest in the prescribed authority upon cancellation or surrender of the FCRA certificate. But that prescribed authority was never defined. That is being defined in the 2026 Act by the designate authority which is going to be set up. So what you are saying is not new. In the 2010 Act also which you brought, this was the mandate because once your certificate is expired, the property has to go someplace. But where does it go is being defined now, and this is the real issue.
Give it to the Aam Aadmi Party or the Congress. If assets are given to them, they will be happy. They will not ask you questions. इनको दे दो एसेट्स.
नहीं एसेट्स तो दिखते ना.
हाँ ऐसा ही है नविका जी. दर्द कहीं और है, बोलना कुछ और है, हो कुछ और रहा है. Nobody can give a very fair argument. Why would you have a problem with such an act? आपको दर्द कुछ और है.
Well, we asked a question and we did a survey. We asked opposition the question on the FCRA bill, and is it anti-Christian and pro-RSS? The centre denies it. Is the opposition misleading for politics? Look at the way people have responded. Yes, say 94%. No, say 5%. Don't have a view 1%. 94% of the people believe politics hai bhai. There is no merit in the arguments that have been put forth by the opposition. It's as clear as daylight. Well, we leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists joining me on debate number 1.